Listen, don't get me wrong. Starting on self-improvement and watching people like your Hamzas, your Andrew Tate, basically the Red Bull, was one of the best things I could have ever done. Especially when I was at a young age, and I was a person who was shy, who was timid, who didn't know how to speak to girls, who had a terrible physique, who had a below average face, everything. A person who was just in a dire need for these masculine figures. And they came to my life in the right moment, exactly in the right moment when I was still a little spurg, a little child who basically knew nothing about the life, you know. And then these guys, they came and they helped me. They showed me the way, and they showed me what it is to have a good mindset. They showed me what it's like to build a good physique and how to speak to people and all the benefits that are surrounded with living this self-improvement lifestyle. But then that also comes with the important understanding that there's a huge disconnect between watching something and actually doing something. You see, if you're like me and you've fallen into the cycle of consume, 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 because that's all that used to happen is I used to make small improvements here, small improvements there, small improvements here, and then I'd reach a tip off. I'd reach a tip off and then everything would just stop. It's like all of a sudden I would just find myself consuming just for the sake of consuming. And even though I would consume, I wouldn't do anything. I wouldn't do anything with that knowledge that I gained. So it's like self-improvement without action is just vanity. Because that's what it was. I was doing it just purely because I wanted to watch something and make myself feel better, even though I wasn't actually doing anything. So it's important not to get stuck into that trap of consuming without taking action. And to the first step to changing that is being aware. Being aware of the fact that, oh, I'm watching all of this stuff. I'm watching how to get better. I'm watching how to get a better physique, how to look better, how to talk to people, all these things, all these things, all these things. But at the end of the day, if you're not doing anything, if you're going back to your average life, then there is no point in that. There's no point in that because you stay still. You stay in the same place because you're just not doing anything. Like I said, self-improvement without action is just purely vanity. You can't do anything without, like, if you watch something and then you don't do it, it's pointless. It's like you're mentally masturbating yourself into thinking you're actually doing something and you're getting better, when the truth is you're not doing anything. And the first step to actually getting better is realizing that, oh, I'm in the cycle. I'm in the cycle of consuming and then not doing anything. I'm consuming, I feel like I'm getting better, but then I'm not doing anything. Then you go like this. And in the end, you find out that you've actually been doing nothing this whole time. You see, don't let the small improvements get to your head. Because if you improve once and then twice, that's good, small improvements. That's how we do it. We build up small blocks. That's how we do it. But then when things actually get hard, once the newbie gains are gone, once the hype, once the motivation phase is gone, and then you don't feel like doing it afterwards and you just stop, that's when you plateau. And a lot of people plateau very early because they see the small gains and they think those small gains are they're just gonna elevate without doing anything else. When in fact, that's not the truth at all. Because you'll find yourself watching more, you'll watch more, you'll consume, but then not take any action. And the best way to take action is to, first of all, realize that you're in the cycle. And then once you have that first awareness, then that's the first part. That's the first part done. And the next part is realizing that you can't do everything at once. Because if you're like me, you'll fall into the trap of thinking, oh, I need to do all these things at once. But the point is just doing one thing at a time and building up slowly. Slowly, you can't just go cold turkey into everything. And cold turkey works sometimes. Me, was every single day. I wake up, I cold turkey that. I stopped for like 4 months. And then things happen, I relapse, but I'm back on again. And I don't even know how long, because at a certain point, PMO just becomes like on when you're no fat, it just becomes a lifestyle. You just stop counting the days. You get so elevated to a certain point that you're just like, it's not even a thing anymore. It's not even a thing that you think of, because it's natural. It's like saying I've been off cigarettes for 18 years when I've never smoked a cigarette in the first place. It's like that feeling again. But the point is that you build off slowly. You go slowly, one by one, and you compound all those skills until you have momentum on your side. And once you have momentum and you have the willpower, because that's also another big thing. Once you have the willpower to realize that, oh, I'm going on this trajectory, and also realize that your mind will always bring you back. Your mind will always take you back to the other, to your lower state of vibration. It will think, oh, let me just, if I just do this one thing once, nothing will happen. And then a few days will go by and it'll be like, oh, you know what, I can do it again. You'll slowly go back into that cycle, and then you'll do what? You'll feel guilty, and then you'll go back to consuming, thinking that you're getting better. But in actuality, you're just repeating the cycle again, the first cycle that I mentioned. Have the ability to be aware of what you're doing. And once you know what you're doing, once you were aware of the fact that you're just in the cycle of consuming self-improvement content and then not taking action, consuming, not taking action, consuming. Once you realize that, you take a step back and you say, how can I restructure? Then you take one thing at a time and you slowly build on that. You can't go cold turkey on everything. Unless if you're built different like that, then props to you. But me, I try to do that. I can only do the few things. I cannot do that for the life of me with everything. And finally, having the mental power to let those habits actually compound on each other. And then, that's when the snowball gets rolling. That's the definition of what's exponential growth. It's like you see minimal improvement. And then all of a sudden, after months, the years of work, you just excel in everything. And then that's just how it goes. But it's those small wins that people don't see. That's the overnight success that everybody says. But they don't realize it's a combination of all these small things, of all this trial and error, of this thing of I think I'm getting better, but I'm not actually doing anything. It's the realizing that cycle. People don't see that. They just think, oh, overnight success. Once you understand that, then you realize that self-improvement content is a blessing and a curse. Don't let it be a blessing and don't fall into the realm of the curse. Don't let it be this never-ending cycle where you just consume but don't take action. Follow these steps that are implemented and then you'll get better. No guarantee. Thank you.